Okay, so I was requested to cover polynomials, and there's a nice list of topics related to polynomials, but I think I'm going to start just briefly by going over some of the basic terminology so that you can grasp a little bit of understanding for what's being said. So first off, what is a polynomial? A polynomial is a mathematical expression made up of variables, constants, and coefficients. So our variables are just what we mark as our unknowns, which are denoted by x, y, and z. Our constants are just our numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And our coefficients are the numbers that we place in front of our variables. So they multiply our variables. And then we can do math to these components. So they are combined using addition, subtraction, and multiplication. So let's give an example. Say we have x plus y minus 3x plus 4x squared. One thing we're going to note is that the variables in our polynomial are going to have non-negative integer exponents. So like you'll see, the x squared x is raised to a power of 2, not something like negative 1/2, no fractions, no negatives. We're not allowed to have that in our polynomials. If it has that, it's not a polynomial. Sometimes they'll ask us, what is the degree of the polynomial? And a definition for that is that it's the highest exponent of the variable in the polynomial. So in the example that we just gave, we would rearrange it so that it's in what's called standard form. So it's where we write the variable with the highest exponent in the front. So we always put the highest exponent in the front. So we put it first, and we can arrange it in descending order. So if it had a power of 3, then I would put that term in the front. If it's raised to a power of 4, I'd put that term in the front. And then we just go down. So for our example here, we have 4x squared plus 3x cubed plus, let's say for example 7. We would want to rewrite it into standard form. We put the highest power first. So we put 3x cubed plus 4x squared plus 7. So we have a degree of 3, and then the next one would be a degree of 2, and then our 7, which is just like it's raised to the power of 1. So now let's say we're asked for the coefficient of a polynomial. We want to know what its definition is. So the coefficient is just going to be the number that appears in front of the variable. The leading coefficient is the coefficient of the term with the highest degree. So for example, if we have a polynomial of 2x squared plus 3x minus 4, negative 2x squared plus 3x minus 4, the highest degree was 2, so our leading coefficient is negative 2. A constant term does not contain variables, it's just a number. So in this polynomial, our constant term is negative 4. So lastly, for a little bit of polynomial vocabulary, we have the words monomial. A monomial is just a polynomial with exactly one term. For example, 4x squared. If you've heard of binomials, bi just means 2. So mono means 1, bi means 2. A binomial is a polynomial with exactly 2 terms. So we have 3y minus 2, for example. Trinomial, you guessed it, 3 terms. It's a polynomial with exactly 3 terms. So for example, 2y cubed plus 3y squared minus 7. It has 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. Very easy. So now let's run through some practice problems using these vocabulary terms. Determine whether the following expressions are polynomials. And if they are, state their degree. So let's see, we have for part A, 3x squared minus 5x plus 1. So yes, this is a polynomial. If you go back to our definition, you'll see that it's got variables, constants, and coefficients, and that the variables have non-negative integer exponents. This meets all our criteria. It's a trinomial, and its degree is 2. Let's say, for example, we had square root of x plus 2. The x is raised to a power of 1/2. So no, because our polynomials must have integer exponents, b is therefore not a polynomial. Let's see for part C, if we had 4x cubed plus 2x squared. Yes, this is a polynomial because we have degrees of 3, all negative integer exponents, and it's actually a binomial because it has 2 terms. Okay, so going to run through some more example problems. So classify each of the following as monomial, binomial, or trinomial. So for part A, we have 4x squared. For part B, we have 2a minus 3. And part C, 5p cubed minus 2p squared plus p. The first one has only one term. It's a binomial. Second has 2 terms. It's a binomial. Third has 3 terms. It's a trinomial. Very easy. I hope you found this introduction to the vocabulary for polynomials helpful. If you need help with specific topics underneath the branch of polynomials, please let me know in the comments.